The Magic Emory Bus by Daphne E., Kayla Huynh, Ruth Zhao, and Seon Kim.
Sammy, you look stressed. What's wrong?
I haven't gotten much sleep, and my heart feels like it's racing like crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Sounds like you might be stressed out. Is there anything in particular that's on your mind?
Well, I have a presentation tomorrow that I'm nervous about, but that's just in my head, right? Why is my body acting like this?
Well, not necessarily. Class, let's take a field trip inside Sammy's brain to see what's going on.
While they boarded the Magic Emory bus, Dr. Grizel explained that the HPA axis is our stress response system comprised of three structures: the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands. Dr. Grizel said, "We are approaching Sammy's hypothalamus right now. Look how it's releasing those little molecules." Seon exclaimed, "I see them. What are those?"
Ruth replied, "The molecules say CRH on them. I think that stands for corticotropin-releasing hormone, right?" Dr. Grizel smiled. "Correct. CRH is released by the hypothalamus and serves as a signaling molecule to activate the pituitary gland. You can see it making its way over there now."
Kayla gasped. I see it. But wait, the pituitary gland is releasing molecules too. Are those CRH? Dr. Grizel shook his head. The pituitary gland releases ACTH, or adrenocorticotropic hormone. ACTH will eventually reach the adrenal glands to tell them to release cortisol, the stress hormone. Let's hitch a ride.
The Magic Emory bus enters a nearby blood vessel. Large green molecules of adrenocorticotropic hormone fly past the bus windows, as well as red blood cells. Whoosh! Whee! Daphne said, "Phew, that was a long journey. Where are we?" Dr. Grizel answered, "We're at the adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys." Daphne peered out of the bus window to get a better look. "That makes sense. I can see the cortisol being released, actually." "Exactly," Dr. Grizel said. "Since Sammy is stressed out about her presentation, her body is responding by releasing cortisol."
Dr. Grizel pulled the class aside. Let's recap the steps of the HPA axis. First, the hypothalamus releases CRH to the anterior pituitary. Then, the anterior pituitary is triggered by CRH to release ACTH to the adrenal cortex. Finally, the adrenal cortex is triggered by ACTH to release cortisol. Ruth scratched her head and asked, "But wait, what does cortisol do anyway?"
"Great question," Dr. Grizel exclaimed. He paused and pressed a button on the driver console, pulling up an image of the human body. Numerous X's appeared over several affected regions. Cortisol is producing Sammy's symptoms, such as difficulty sleeping, suppressed immunity, and increased heart rate, among many others, Dr. Grizel said. Kayla gasped and covered her mouth. "That doesn't sound good." Dr. Grizel continued. "In the short term, cortisol is actually necessary so Sammy's body can react appropriately and help her get through her stress."
However, if Sammy is stressed too often and her HPA axis is chronically activated, then this can lead to negative effects, Dr. Grizel said. Good thing her body exhibits negative feedback. Seon asked, "What's negative feedback?" Dr. Grizel replied, "Negative feedback is the process by which cortisol inhibits the hypothalamus from releasing CRH, as well as the pituitary from releasing ACTH. This prevents chronic cortisol release and continual stress symptoms."
"Sammy, the class is worried about you. How did your presentation go? Do you still feel stressed?" Sammy smiles. "It went well. I feel so relieved, but I think I need a nap."
Great to hear. Class, let's head back and let Sammy recover. Thanks, Dr. Grizel.
Special thanks to Dr. Grizel, our Magic Emory bus conductor. Sorry we realized at the last minute that we forgot to draw in your beard and glasses. They're still there, just invisible. Scan the QR code to the right to access a web page with more mental health resources.